All right, let's talk about taking real control of your network. Have you ever wanted to be the one who decides what websites people can visit, what files they can download, or even when they can get online? Well, today we're diving right into that. We're going to walk through, step by step, how to set up the incredibly powerful Squid proxy server. So, let's get right into it.
So what is a Squid proxy anyway? The best way to think about it is like a super smart security guard for your entire network's internet connection. Every single request from every user has to go through Squid first. Nothing gets in or out without its permission. And having that single point of control gives you an amazing amount of power to manage, watch, and even speed up your web traffic. And just look at the kind of control we're talking about. It's so much more than just a simple website blocker. You can make browsing faster for everyone with caching. You can lock down specific sites and file types. You can even set internet curfews with time restrictions or put a speed limit on users who are hogging all the bandwidth. It's basically the Swiss Army knife for network control.
Okay, here's how we're going to tackle all this today. First up, getting started. Then, we're going to get our hands dirty building your block lists. After that, we'll dive into some advanced controls. And finally, we'll cover the crucial go live and troubleshooting phase.
All right, let's jump right into part 1, getting started. Our goal here is pretty simple. Get Squid installed, get it running, and make sure our local network can actually use it to get to the internet. This is the foundation we'll build everything else on top of. First things first, we gotta install the package, and that DNF install command takes care of that for us. Next up is systemctl enable/now. Now this one's really handy because it does two things at once. It starts Squid immediately, and it tells the server to start it automatically every time it reboots. And finally, the firewall. By default, Squid is listening on port 3128, so we need to poke a hole in our firewall to let that traffic through. So Squid is running, but right out of the box, it doesn't let anyone in. We have to explicitly tell it who's allowed to use the service. We do that in the main configuration file, squid.conf. First, we define what's called an access control list, or ACL. Don't let the name scare you, it's just a nickname. Here, we're creating a nickname called localnet for our network. Then, the next line is as simple as it looks, HTTP access allow localnet. We're just saying, hey Squid, let that localnet group in.
Okay, I need you to pay close attention here because this is the single most important rule in the entire world of Squid. Squid reads its rules from top to bottom and it stops at the very first rule that matches. This means your allow rules must come before your deny rules. And at the absolute very end of your list, you add this line, HTTP access deny all. It's your safety net. It means if none of my other rules allowed this, then block it. Get this order wrong and you'll either block everyone or allow everyone. It's that critical.
All right, our proxy is up and the foundation is built. Now it's time for the fun stuff. Let's start blocking things. In this next part, we're going to build out our block lists to stop users from getting to certain websites or downloading specific types of files.
Blocking websites is a really straightforward three-step dance. First, you just create a plain old text file to hold your list of domains. Second, you add the domains to that file. You might notice that little backslash before the dot. That's a tiny bit of regex that just tells Squid to match a literal dot. It's a small detail, but it helps be precise. And third, you just hop back into your squid.conf file, add one line to create an ACL that reads from your file, and a second line to deny anything that matches. Easy as that.
And you're going to see a pattern here because blocking file downloads is almost the exact same process. You make a file, list the file extensions you want to block, and then wire it up in the config. But there's one crucial difference. See how we're using URL path regex? That tells Squid to only look at the path part of the URL. And that $sign at the end? That's more regex magic that means match this only at the very end of the line. This ensures we're only blocking files that end in MP4, not some website that just happens to have MP4 in its name. It's pretty smart.
Okay, so we've covered blocking what users can get to. Now let's level up and start controlling when they can get online and how fast they can download things. This is where Squid really transforms from a simple filter into a powerful network management tool. Let's say you want to turn off internet access outside of business hours. With Squid, this is incredibly simple to set up. First, you just define an ACL for time. We're calling it work hours, and give it the days and the time range. But the real magic is that second line. See that exclamation point? That means not. So the rule HTTP access deny not work hours literally translates to deny access if the current time is not within work hours. It's so elegant and so powerful.
But what if you don't want to block someone completely? What if you just want to slow them down? Maybe you've got somebody on the network who's always downloading huge files and hogging all the bandwidth. Well, Squid can handle that too. The feature is called delay pools, and it lets you put a speed limit on specific users or even entire networks.
Now, this looks a little more complicated, but it's really just 3 pieces. First, you tell Squid how many delay pools you plan to use. Then, you set the speed limits for that pool, and yeah, you'll need to do the math because it's in bytes per second. Finally, you create an ACL for who you want to slow down. We're calling it speed control here, and then you apply that delay pool to them. It's a fantastic way to make sure everyone gets a fair share of the connection.
Okay, so we've written all of our rules, but they're not active yet. They're just sitting in a file. This final section is all about bringing our new configuration to life. How to apply it safely, how to test that everything works the way you expect, and how to fix the common problems that pop up.
Before you ever restart Squid with a new config, I want you to burn this command into your brain. Squid-k parse. Seriously, this thing is a lifesaver. It checks your entire config file for typos and syntax errors before you apply it, saving you from taking your whole proxy offline by accident. Once it gives you the all clear, you can safely restart the service. Then, you just got to point a browser to your server's IP and port 3128 and start testing your rules.
To save yourself some future headaches, stick to these best practices. Always test rules one by one, so if something breaks, you know exactly what did it. Keep an eye on the access log to see what Squid is doing in real time. And please back up your config file. On the don't side, we've got the classic mistakes, forgetting that final deny all rule and getting your rule order mixed up. Avoid those, and you'll be in great shape.
And speaking of problems, here are the top 3 issues you'll probably face. If suddenly every website is denied, it's almost guaranteed that your deny all rule is in the wrong place. Move it to the very bottom. If a site you thought you blocked is still getting through, you probably have a small typo in your block list file. And if the Squid service just won't start at all, don't panic. Just run squid-k parse. It'll tell you the exact line number that has the error.
And finally, here's a little cheat sheet with the most important commands all in one place. We've got your installation, your validation check, the restart command, and a way to test from the terminal. That tail-f command is especially handy. It gives you a live scrolling view of the access log, so you can see requests come in as you're testing your rules.
And there you have it. We've gone all the way from a basic installation to a finely tuned gateway that controls web access, file downloads, time, and even bandwidth. You now have the tools and the knowledge to build the digital walls and write the rulebook for your network. So the only question left is, now that you have all this power, what are you going to control first?